Mike, let me start with you just because we just heard from President Biden on this issue, and he did call to renew the assault weapons ban that, of course, was passed originally when he was in the Senate and then was allowed to expire. He also, of course, spoke about the victims and their families and what they're going through right now, which is, of course, something Joe Biden, as you know so well, has endured such personal tragedy in his own life. What stood out to you in terms of what we heard from the president just a few minutes ago, Mike?
Well, Casey, and you may be able to hear the engines of Marine One. The president just took off behind me from the South Lawn as he heads to Ohio. As I was listening to his remarks, though, a few moments ago, one thing was clear to me, having, as you mentioned, spent a lot of time covering Joe Biden over the years, and that was the degree to which he went off script here at several moments. First of all, to preempt some of the reporters' questions about what he may have learned in the briefings he's received from the Attorney General, from his team at the White House about the motive of the shooter and other circumstances around this. Also to lean into, in the first time, frankly, in his nearly 9 weeks now as president, to this issue of gun safety. If you remember, during the course of the campaign, this idea that, and especially in the crowded Democratic primary, then candidate Joe Biden, as he put it, was the only person on that stage who had taken on the NRA and defeated them, was something he really used to try to distinguish himself in that race. And so this is, in a lot of ways, a sort of a rubber meets the road moment for this president who, yes, the White House has had some meetings with gun safety advocates, with community leaders on the margins here. The president himself had not discussed the issue of guns until last Friday when he was in Atlanta talking about, of course, the spa shootings there. He called it a public safety, a public health crisis that was unfolding at this point. And so after the Newtown shooting, when Biden was then vice president, President Obama put him in charge of a task force at the White House to look at both legislative and executive actions that he could take. We have not seen any thus far from this president now that he's in the White House. Significantly, as you mentioned, Casey, it was 8 years ago that the Manchin-Toomey debate was really in full swing on Capitol Hill. It got that Manchin-Toomey amendment more than 50 votes, but not enough to overcome the filibuster. And that remains that obstacle at this point. And I believe we have some sound. I asked then candidate Biden during the campaign specifically about whether he would support abolishing the filibuster for gun safety legislation. Let's take a listen to what he said at that time. Should they end the legislative filibuster if that's what's needed to pass gun reform?
I think we'd have to make that call on the fly. Ending the filibuster is a very dangerous thing to do because it's been used by progressives our whole time to make sure that we did not get rolled over when the Republicans had, when you're talking, you start off and you say, let's get rid of the filibuster. It sounds great till they own it all. You know what I mean? It sounds great.
As we see that chaotic scene from the Iowa State Fair in what feels like a different era, a different lifetime, it's worth noting that politically this is a very different moment as well. Now that he's in the White House, the president's broader legislative agenda may well depend on abolishing the filibuster. And we have heard this president say he is, for the first time, even with his decades in the Senate, somebody who's much of an institutionalist more than an ideologue, opening the door at least to potential reforms, including that talking filibuster, Casey. But we'll see if this gun debate may jumpstart that even further.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.